Next answer, why did Holmes play the part? Holmes was convinced that Smith had murdered his nephew, Victor Savage, but he had no evidence to prove his conviction. He knew he had no other option but to make Smith admit to it, and hence he played his part. Next. So we have long answers from page 119. Question number 5. In your opinion, why did Holmes keep his plan a secret from Watson? Holmes kept his plan a secret from Watson because he knew that Watson had to sound convincing when he approached Smith informing of Holmes' illness, as Smith was a very shrewd criminal. Question 6. Describe the part that Watson played in Holmes' plot. What does this say about Watson's character and his attitude towards his friend Holmes? Holmes entrusted Watson with the most important duty of bringing the criminal to him, without which solving the mystery would not have been possible. This clearly shows that Watson was very loyal towards his friend, and even though he often questioned Holmes' activities, he nevertheless abided Holmes' convictions. Number 7. What signal did Holmes have Smith give? Who was the signal meant for? Describe what happened after the signal was given. So if you notice, there are 3 parts in this question, right? 3 parts. So 3 parts have been answered. Holmes asked Smith to turn up the gas, which acted as a signal. Next line. The signal was meant for Inspector Morton, who had been waiting for it. Next, a few moments later, Inspector Morton came inside Holmes' room and arrested Mr. Smith on charges of murdering his nephew. Question 8. What do you think is Holmes' attitude to life? What do you learn from it? See, again, there are 2 parts of the question, right? So the first one, Holmes believes in taking matters in his own hands and does not wait for luck to come knocking on his door. When he realized that he had no evidence to prove Smith guilty, he made the criminal confess his guilt so that he could be arrested. Next line. The important lessons that one can learn from Holmes' attitude to life are his dedication to his aim and his ability to bring the criminal round to confess his own crime without going beyond the law. Question number 9. List all the things that could be used as evidence in the trial of the murder of Victor Savage. Read it about 300 to 350 words, a description of Holmes' plan for catching Smith red-handed. Now, if you look at this answer, 300 to 350 words, obviously it's too long. It's almost the size of an essay. Not possible, right? So I have curtailed down this answer as short as possible. Basically, in this question, you're asked to describe about Holmes' plan for catching Smith, right? So let's see. Holmes hatched a plan to bait Mr. Smith, the criminal, into confessing the crime. He stopped eating and drinking for 3 days so that he could convince his housekeeper and Dr. Watson about his illness. However, he had taken Inspector Morton into confidence and had asked him to wait for a signal before coming in to arrest murderer. Holmes advised Dr. Watson to bring Mr. Smith to him because Holmes claimed that he knew more about his disease than anybody else in London. It was a clever trick that Holmes used to lure the criminal into his lair of his own accord. It will not be leave, it will be lure, L-U-R-E. Mr. Smith admitted murdering his nephew Victor Savage, and thus he could be charged and arrested by the inspector with Watson as witness to his confession. Moreover, the ivory box with the poisonous sting could act as an important evidence.